You're now live.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Morning, Dad.
Hi, Ace.
I don't know. It was like no sound for a minute. But now the song's playing.
A pregnant pause?
Yeah.
Hi, Vanessa.
Morning, Vanessa. Hi, Amber.
Oh, today is one of my
Morning,
favorite
Alan.
days.
Hey, Mark. What's up?
Today is one of my favorite days.
Ah, yes, it is.
I just saw it on the list. Morning, Mark.
Necessarily those of station management. Feel free to give Jennifer and Teresa a call at 782-4321. And now, Today in Yuma.
Ready?
Yep. Welcome to Today in Yuma. I'm Jennifer Blackwell.
And I'm Teresa Straub.
We are here live on Z93 and Outlaw Country radio stations. You can also stream us at monstermediayuma.com or watch us on the FTS Automotive Facebook live feed. You can find that on my personal page, but we do share the link on the station page.
Yes, and we originate the feed from Jennifer's page just to get around some of those Facebook algorithms. We want to make sure that you get the notifications that we are going to be live, but again, you can find it on her page, or we do share it to the Z93 and Outlaw Country Facebook page.
That's right. And we are looking at another day of extreme heat for the Yuma area. And because of that, we have Mike ERFERT with the Yuma Fire Department coming in a little bit later. Mike's going to talk about some of the things to watch for and what to do if you are or someone you know is in a situation of distress. Prior to that, we have Michelle MERKLEY from the Yuma Community Food Bank stopping by. Now, I've been receiving information this morning. It's back to school time.
It is.
And we have registration taking place for the high school district, but I want to share some information for Gadsden Elementary School District 32. They are going to be distributing uniforms and backpacks through the migrant program. Hang on, the print is small. I must get closer or farther away. They will be distributing backpacks at Gadsden Elementary today and tomorrow from 8 a.m. until 2 p.m. Then they're going to be distributing at Arizona Desert Elementary School the 26th and the 27th. That's also from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then Rio Colorado Elementary School the 31st and August 1st. I have posted the list on both of the Facebook pages.
Yes,
also.
definitely. Mm-hmm.
I will get this on the website too, because it does have additional dates up through around mid-August for Southwest Junior High School. Again, there's different dates for the locations. So if you're curious about that, you can always check out our Facebook posting or just go to the Gadsden Elementary School District Facebook page. They have it there also.
Sounds good.
We just want to spread the word.
We do.
And it is indeed back to school time. So
It is. And I know that I've been seeing a lot of questions through Facebook as inquiring, when is District 1 going to get their letters out regarding open house and things. You got to remember, they just opened yesterday, so I'm assuming within the next couple of days we'll be seeing them in our mailbox again. Just got to be patient. They're trying to get their things together and get ready for the next school year too. But usually, I usually get it, towards the end of this week or the beginning of next week.
just patience.
Yes.
Try and be patient. And I was looking for something at a local retailer yesterday, and I was kind of perusing around the back to school section.
Yeah.
Because I was looking for flash drives.
Mhm.
And at one store, they're in one spot, and at another, they're in another spot.
Yeah.
Well, I made the mistake of getting caught in the fray. And I'm like, sorry, I'm going to dart out in front of you. And he's like, there are no laws in here. I said, he goes, but if there were, you would have just been cited. I said, I know, failure to yield to an oncoming traffic cart.
Well, yeah, and it's funny because when I was going through, I was like, okay, I could see everybody was kind of going one direction in that lane, and I was not about to try and go the opposite. So I went around and went in and kind of followed the direction. Again, we're all looking for the same thing. So if it makes sense if you all are going the same direction, it's just being courteous. That's all there is.
It is, and it's funny because they all have their lists out. They're trying to check off the different things.
Yeah.
And make sure everything was accounted for.
That's definitely me.
We're trying to find what it is that you need. And if you have more than one child, too, they're operating or using multiple lists, trying to keep it all straight.
You know what I could not find, and I ended up breaking down and just getting paper ones? Orange plastic prong folders.
3-prong or 2-prong?
3-prong.
3-prong. Plastic.
Plastic.
Orange.
They don't
may
tear as
have-
bad.
No, which is great. Like I'm all about the plastic because Eli had paper ones last year and they ripped. I mean, I bought extra ones because they kept coming home ripped. And the whole section, I found all of the other colors. There's 4 colors they
Right.
needed, but the orange ones, I could not find them anywhere. And finally, I gave up and just got the paper ones because I could not find the plastic ones.
I still have Jace's kindergarten folder. It was Miss Hardy was the teacher. She actually left after the first semester kindergarten to go to nursing school. She came from a family of nurses.
Fantastic.
So she made a bit of a career change there. But what they did is the school would provide the folder, and then they would laminate. They would open them up flat, laminate
I
them.
remember that.
That way it had the little apple on the front with the student's name, and then it was just a little bit more secure. But that's expensive too, laminating something that
Yes.
big and that many of them.
Exactly. And the plastic ones are only 50 cents a piece, and they're not bad. And I bought extra ones. I always do because I know it's going to happen. But for some reason, I could not find orange plastic 3-prong folders.
The one that was the challenge for me was once we hit junior high, Jace attended Woodard, and they had to have, I think it was a 3.5 inch. They wanted the binder
Yeah.
because they kept all of the subjects in the one binder, and then you had them separated by they wanted different numerical tabs,
Yeah.
and then the clear tabs where you could insert the subject.
I am looking forward to those days.
Well, you are in theory until you make it about a third of the way through
And the
whatever,
binder-
whether it's the semester and it's hanging by 8 threads.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it definitely it comes in handy to go ahead and probably spend $2 extra to get
Yeah.
a better
Oh, yeah.
manufactured brand.
Yes.
I learned that. I think I ended up replacing that 4 times in 7th grade. Boys are hard on stuff
Yes.
too.
Very hard
They,
on stuff.
they chuck them in their backpack, and the backpacks get thrown.
Folders get folded in half when other folders get put in there.
Yes.
Believe me, I've seen it all. You mentioned, you were in that section. There's a lot of people out. Don't forget there is still a few school supply drives going on because there is a couple of school supply drives that are going to be going on after school starts. I know Sunset Community Health has theirs coming up, I believe the week after school starts, but then the Cuddy's Back to School shindig, they're having theirs, I believe it's August 12th, and they're collecting supplies at different locations around town. I know that there's one at Neverlow, I believe it's a smoke shop, but I also know that there's one at Dancers Workshop right there in the Yuma Mesa Shopping Center. They're all over, and if you just kind of look around, you'll see them, and you can always go to their Facebook page to find the different locations because they're trying to gather as many as they can. That way they can help as many children as possible too.
Lisa says non-spiral notebooks are so hard to find, and you can find a lot of them. There's the
Like a composition?
not the composition,
No,
but there's
it's
another
actual
where
notebook.
they have like a perforation, and you
Oh.
can tear the pages out without.
Yeah.
The spiral notebooks can be pretty messy and leave a lot of the little.
And get stuck on things, on
yeah,
your sweat, or
they
the
do.
tie.
Well, my son and his girlfriend are both left-handed, and they're excited because they have left-handed spiral
Notebooks?
notebooks that are out now. And
I didn't know.
nor did I because we're right-handed. That's why.
Where did they find them? Like in the stores?
I don't
Yes.
know. They had to.
Yes.
Well, no, like at a regular store. Like they
Yeah.
didn't have to go to like an office store.
I have no idea.
I've seen left-handed
hey, Kat,
notebooks.
Yeah, I saw you watching here. Where did Destiny get her left-handed notebook from?
I never knew that.
Yes.
Yeah, well, all you do, you smudge stuff because you're writing the opposite way.
Yeah.
Oh, you just
that
well,
makes sense.
just like us
makes
right-handed
Turn
people.
his mic on.
No, I know it definitely makes sense, but I never thought, because I'm not left-handed, I never thought about that.
So yeah, and my family, our nuclear family, it was my sister, my father, and my brother were all left-handed. So my mom and I were like the only two that are right-handed, and I kind of like left out in the shade because we were the oddballs out. It felt. But my sister is also an artist. She just has a talent that I'm envious of, and I can remember her working on different ways to write so that she wouldn't smudge.
Wow, I never. Those are things you don't think about until you actually have to.
And
really.
like even pencil lead will smudge.
You can watch it and see if the hand has gone over it. It makes a smudge to it. And
Absolutely.
it's not as clean as it would be had they gone from right to left.
Right to left, yeah.
And they
or
still
left to
do-
right. Actually, we write left to right.
Right.
She writes left to right, but because you're using your left hand, the palm or the base of your
smudges
hand
what
smudges.
you've just written.
And as an artist, she got very creative in how she would write or draw.
Brush strokes and everything are different.
Exactly. So she would have to lift her hand and not really use her hand as a stabilizer. She got really good at strengthening her hand in a way that she wasn't having to support her hand on the paper.
We will do a segment one day on how to teach a left-handed child how to tie their shoes.
Oh, it's the same. Seriously.
Not when you're right-handed.
It is, well, it is, but the process
they
is the
see
same.
it the same way if you sit across from them.
Okay.
They're just watching. They're watching the proper way to do things.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because I'm like, Mom, how am I going to... My older brother's left-handed, Ace. And I go, Mom, how am I going to teach him to tie his shoes? And she goes, just sit across from him. And he's seeing a mirror image, so he's going to do the same thing you're doing. I'm like, because it's hard for me to, figure things
Well, you must have figured
backwards.
it out because he knows how to tie his shoes
Well,
now,
my brother
so.
wears Velcro, so... That should have been the clue, though. He did for a long time just because he was lazy. It wasn't that he couldn't tie his shoes. Oh, all right. Coming up on the show, again, Michelle Merkley with the Yuma Community Food Bank, Mike ERFERT from the Yuma Fire Department, and we are going to open up the text lines right now.
Okay.
No keyword for this.
Okay.
We have a Lotus Day Spa and Salon gift certificate, and I know we were checking out all their services this morning.
We sure were.
Because we're thinking pedicures are necessary here in the very near future.
I want a massage.
And all you need to do, we want you to text us and tell us why you want a $50 gift certificate from Lotus Day Spa.
Mm-hmm.
The keyword, I just get in a habit. The text line is 928-343-0993. And you have until noon today.
Mm-hmm.
That way you can think about it a little bit and tell us why. Maybe because you've had all your children home for the summer.
We feel your pain.
Or maybe you're a teacher and you're already gearing up to head back to school.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you just want a massage or a pedicure or a haircut or a manicure or one of the many other services they offer.
There is so many services there, and they are a full day spa. So everything is fantastic and reasonably priced, and this $50 gift certificate will definitely get you something that is very nice.
Well, speaking of very nice, we have a couple national days today to recognize.
We do.
It's National Amelia Earhart Day.
Woohoo.
And this is recognized on, she was pretty much an aviation pioneer.
Mm-hmm.
And there's still some arguments as to where her remains may actually be at because she disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
And they're estimating somewhere in the Pacific, but there's a lot of things surrounding that. But again, she was a pioneer, especially in that industry.
Mm-hmm.
I know you love this next one. National Tequila Day.
Yes, tequila is my friend.
It's National Thermal Engineer Day, but I think you can get behind the National Tequila Day a little bit more.
Definitely.
It says, grab a lime and the salt. It's National Tequila Day, and it's made from the blue agave plant. Tequila has a deep and storied history. Let me share that with you.
Okay.
Named after the small town of Tequila in a valley west of Guadalajara in Jalisco, Mexico, the spirit was known as mezcal wine about the time the conquistadors came to the continent. And while there are a variety of succulents in Mexico used for several purposes, only one produces the nectar to distill tequila. Blue agave, raised in the highlands region, grows larger in size and sweeter in aroma and taste. And agave grown in the lowland regions has a more herbaceous fragrance and flavor. And Mexico legislation protects the manufacture of tequila, and the law states tequila is only tequila if it's produced within Jalisco.
Okay.
There
Sounds
you go.
Good to me.
And the law limits production to regions in the states of something with a G, something with an M, an N, and a T. So the same ingredients distilled anywhere else cannot be labeled tequila.
I'm sure that they are still labeling it tequila.
Possibly.
I'm
Now,
pretty
what's one
sure.
of the most recognized names associated with tequila?
Patron.
How about Jose Antonio Cuervo?
Okay, that too.
You won't think that. I know you, Patron is your thing. That's what you like. And Cuervo held the first license for manufacturing the flavored beverage, courtesy of the King of Spain. And he kept a well-known company. Don Zenobio Souza and Felix Lopez, also producers of tequila, whose businesses continue in some form today, are also included in that history.
That's cool.
All right, yeah, Teresa's a Patron kind of girl.
I like tequila. It took a long time for it to become my friend, and you usually have a couple battles with it before it becomes your friend. But you get to know your limits, and that's all that matters.
Those battles may be why I don't drink to this day. There may have been some instances in the early 20s.
Exactly.
Tina says, yay, tequila. I should have had you cue up some audio for that.
I know, right?
All right, it's also National Drive-Thru Day, and there are over 211,000 fast food restaurants in the United States, but we also have drive-thrus for pharmacies, laundromats,
Banks.
yeah, coffee shops, liquor stores, and many more use drive-ins. It's a convenient way for people to do business.
I was laughing. There was some people that came to visit over here in Yuma from like the East Coast, and they were like, "That's a drive-through liquor store.
Yes.
You've never seen a drive-through
Oh, wow.
liquor store before.
Yep.
It's not common, I guess.
Not out in the
People not-
Midwest.
Well,
or
and
East.
in places like Yuma, when you have an extreme heat warning,
Yes.
you don't want to get out of your vehicle. Can I just drive up and drive?
But you
get
still
what I
need your tequila
Yeah, exactly.
that you will imbibe in once you get home. Then it's a much more convenient option.
Just because it's a drive-through liquor store doesn't mean you drink it in the
No,
drive-through.
no. What was one of the morons in the news we heard the other day from Bob and Sherry? They pulled with a woman. They pulled someone over for drinking
yeah.
and driving, and she says, "I wasn't driving. I was only drinking at the red lights."
I remember you telling
Oh
me
my
that.
goodness! Oh my goodness!
I like this last one too.
Yes, it's National Cousins Day.
And that's
Aw.
pretty much everybody in Yuma because I'm related to everybody in Yuma.
Not all of them. My
all of
neighbors
them.
for a number of years are related to the other half, and you're not cousins with them.
No, I'm
So
not.
there you go. You both cover all of Yuma. All right, it's time to take a break here on Today in Yuma. We will be back with more after the break. The show is brought to you by Classic Accounting. They have over 30 years of experience and knowledge, and you can trust them with your business payroll and monthly bookkeeping needs. Give them a call today at 343-1040 and tell them Jennifer and Teresa sent you.
And Sprague Sports. Check out the Sprague's difference. Buy, sell, trade, or consign firearms with free expert appraisals. Sprague's offers local price matching and a lifetime warranty. You can find them on 32nd Street next to Lowe's.
And yes, we do have an extreme heat advisory in the forecast for Yuma through tomorrow. And if your home isn't comfortable, it might be time to call a professional. Call Quick Refrigeration at 782-3691. They've been heating and cooling the Yuma area since 1955.
And Yuma's best advocate pest and wildlife specialists. For the safety of their technicians, they are limiting the late afternoon appointments on Tuesday and Wednesday due to extreme heat warnings. We hope everyone stays hydrated, cool, and safe. As a reminder, they start appointments as early as 6 a.m. for your convenience. Thank you for your continued business. That's Advocate Pest and Wildlife Specialists.
It's Today in Yuma. We'll be back after the break on Z93, Outlaw Country, MonsterMediaYuma.com, and the FTS Automotive Facebook Live feed.
Did you
When I
read?
saw that, I thought that
Mark?
was so cool.
Yeah, it
They
is.
did that.
They
That
take
is.
care of their technicians.
Hello. How are you doing? You're early. Okay. Come on in, Michelle.
Good morning.
Hello.
How are you doing that Lotus Day Spa thing?
Did you send in your entry?
I have not yet. I fell yesterday, and you want to talk about hurt?
No, I haven't.
I just, high heels and gravel, just not a good combo. I went down.
Oh no.
I wake up, I'm like, oh, my shoulder hurts. Oh, this hurts.
So you need to go to Lotus Day Sponsor.
Yeah.
Get a massage.
Remember, text in why you want to win this $50 gift certificate by noon today.
I
Text to
remember-
928-343-0993.
But my parents parents in their back room, they have like painted concrete, and I was playing with the dog, and he had his ball right there, like, throw the ball for me. And so I went to kick the ball, like, so it would go and he would run after it. Well, I was wearing flat shoes, and I slipped and I fell straight to my bottom. And before, you're like, oh, okay, get up and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, it hurt so bad. And I was like, what happened? Obviously I'm getting older. I must be middle-aged or something, because, oh my gosh, when I fell, I was like, normally it wouldn't bother me, but I went straight to the ground after I kicked the ball out. And I was
When
like,
you go to kick it and you completely miss it.
no, I kicked it. It went fine,
No,
but so did I.
But I miss stuff. Kick a grapefruit or something out of the way out here in the courtyard, just miss it and hope no one was watching.
Usually I'm the one watching you.
And she goes, were you talking to the chickens? Yeah.
Well, since that day you were attacked by the chickens, I pay attention to when you walk back and forth. Make sure I don't have to come save you. It's been a couple years, but one of the mama chickens got afraid for her babies, got trapped between Jen, and well, it decided it wanted to chase her.
There's no key word. Just text why you want to win.
Are doing right now on Facebook Live.
Aw.
You're a sweetheart, Mark.
All right, you ready?
Yep. Welcome back to Today in Yuma. I'm Jennifer.
And I'm Teresa.
We are live here on Z93 Outlaw Country. And don't forget, you can always watch the show on the FTS Automotive Facebook Live feed. If you're driving somewhere now or you're at work and you can't watch it, but you're curious, you can always go watch it a little bit later in the day.
Yeah, and if you have any questions or comments for any of our guests while you watch it later in the day, just go ahead and post it right on there. We get notifications when you guys do that later in the day. And if it's a question we can answer, we'll go ahead and do that. If not, we will get in touch with the appropriate guest and make sure they get it answered for you.
We're usually around a phone or a computer, so we can get back to you
Make it
relatively quickly.
super easy.
All right, our next guest, Michelle Merkley with the Yuma Community Food Bank. Thank you for coming in.
Oh, of course. Good morning. Happy Tuesday.
All right, it is a very busy time of year for you guys. And, even though summertime, other places talk about slowing down a little bit, that's not necessarily the case for the food bank.
That is correct.
The need is still there year round. And unfortunately, a lot of the volunteer base does leave. They might be more seasonal individuals, but the need is still there. And we've had, with school being out, I know that you guys have also been one of the summer food program locations.
We were.
That is all wrapped up for another summer. But school is starting back up very soon. That means those school backpacks are going to be provided again. Explain how that works, Michelle.
So the school backpacks, we work with local schools here in Yuma County, and they identify students that are in need for food on the weekends, those students that are food insecure. So what we do is we go out, this is money that we do write grants for. We have to go out and actually purchase this food. But we fill those, we actually put them in plastic bags now. We don't put them in backpacks because a lot of the students said it was too heavy to carry 2 backpacks. We actually give them a plastic bag. And so they pick that up on Fridays, and they can take that food home with them on the weekends.
Is it enough to actually stretch out the weekend for them?
It is. And we try to make like instant macaroni and cheese, like SpaghettiOs that have a pop top, because we've noticed that a lot of the students are home alone on the weekends because their parents are working. So we try to give them something that's easy for them to prepare at home.
And you mentioned this is stuff that you actually have to go out and buy.
We do.
You can't take from donations for this particular thing, because there's very specific things that you put in these bags.
Correct.
So you take, you said you get grant funding for this too, but you also take donations for that.
We do, yes. If you want to donate money to go directly to the backpack program, just let us know that, and we'll apply that money to those funds so we can go out and purchase that food for the kids.
Will that still apply if people are looking to use that for the tax credit?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
You
Now,
just need to specify where you want it to go.
Yeah, exactly. And it's all, we'll make sure that you get that receipt so that you can get your tax credit.
well, what current events do we have going on that you want to tell our audience about?
We are super excited. Tomorrow is the monthly mixer with the Chamber of Commerce, and we are having it at the food bank. This is the first time we've done that, so we're excited. It's from 5:30 to 7. Again, that's tomorrow, and it's open to the public. It's no charge. Come on down. We'll have food and some beverages, and allow everybody just to come in and see what we do there and take a tour of the food bank.
Do you have to be a chamber member?
You do not.
Okay.
So come on down, bring your business cards. It's a good way to meet other people in Yuma County.
Well, that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Now, Hertz Donuts is coming back to town.
I saw that.
They will be in town tomorrow, correct?
Correct. Tomorrow
okay.
at noon. So definitely get your bottles of water
Okay.
ready.
And
Yeah.
last time they were here in May, the food bank was the recipient because they like to coordinate with the local nonprofit in whatever community they're taking their emergency donut vehicle to.
Correct.
And last time it was the food bank. This time it will be Amberly's place.
That's amazing. I didn't know they were coming tomorrow. so.
They are. Well, they have.
We'll
There
see
we
you out
go,
there.
yeah.
We'll see you out there, I'm sure.
They sold out so fast last time
Really?
and were very well received by the community.
Yes.
And they made that comment when they were here that they sold out quicker than they thought. Their bacon maple bars were gone. I think the quickest
I
they've
think
ever
so,
seen them
yeah.
gone before. But I love that they chose Yuma again. Like I said, you guys received some money back from them
We
last
did.
time, and I'm glad that they're coming back. I think it's great that they're not even part of our community,
Yeah,
but since they're coming in to sell their product, they're going to give back to our community.
That's amazing.
Amber said she thought the church adopted schools for the backpack program as well. Some of them do.
Some of them do, yes. And I believe there's a different program through some of the churches that they do a backpack.
Power pack.
The Power Pack,
Thank
that's
you,
right.
Rita, yes. Yeah.
That's right. Now, what I love about this is we're all one big community, and Yuma does step up when we find individuals in need in our community, especially when it comes to our children. So I like that we have multiple different opportunities to
Yes.
because again the food bank relies on cash donations and the grants for this to happen. All
I have to intercede. I'm
Anita
sorry.
is going to interject here.
I'm
Jump
so
in.
sorry. The backpack program when I was at the food bank was one that I was very, very passionate about. And a lot of things that people don't realize is there's over 20,000 kids within Yuma County that qualify for a free or reduced lunch, which means they would qualify for a backpack.
That is true.
And so, the food bank is distributing a portion of that, maybe 10% of that is what the food bank can do because that's the donations that they're getting. There's still that other population that could use the support that don't get that support. So just food for thought. I think the more we invest in our youth, the better off we're going to be as a community because they're our future.
Yeah,
They are,
exactly.
and with 1 out of 4 children in Yuma County being considered food insecure, that means they don't know where their next meal's coming
Right.
from. We're very fortunate that we have the free or reduced lunches at a large amount of the local schools. But again, once Friday comes, we don't want these children stressing about if they're going to have a meal at all over the weekend.
Exactly. And then come Monday morning, they're hungry. I mean,
Right.
they're tired and they're not,
Able to focus.
and learn.
And we need that. Again, they're our future. We need to take care of them.
Absolutely. And with the unemployment rate, I think they said this morning it's over 19%.
Yeah, we had an
in Yuma
increase.
County, we had an increase. So those families need that extra help.
Well, I'm glad you guys are doing things like the chamber mixer, tomorrow, because it's a way for these different business owners in the community to go and actually get a firsthand look on what you guys do,
Yeah.
how much is actually on the shelves, and maybe it will prompt them. You know what? This is something I need to step up and try and help with. Even every little bit counts. Even if it's a small donation every month, that's could possibly be a couple backpacks for a couple
Absolutely.
kids.
Yeah,
So-
absolutely.
But again, too, remember with their partnerships that they have through Feeding America,
Yeah.
a cash $1 donation can provide 9 meals, and that they have more buying power because of that relationship than you or I could. We couldn't even purchase 1 meal for $1.
No,
No, not at all. Yeah.
And we're getting often shelf-stable food and items like that.
Yeah.
So let's talk briefly too about the seniors in the community.
So we have the senior nutrition program. Seniors 60 years and older are eligible to come down and sign up for that program. If it's a first time, they just need to come and bring photo ID. They need to show proof of residency, and we'll get them signed up. And they can come down, and there's a lot of protein in those boxes. And then I give them the milk, the cheese, like canned chicken and tuna. And it gives them that much needed nutrition they need.
Good. And Christine had a question, and I want to make sure we address this. She says, can we bring in food for the backpacks or just cash? And it has to be cash.
Just cash. Yeah, because we want the backpacks, we want all the students get the same type of food. So
And if you're relying on donations, obviously you're not going to have 20,000
No.
or 5,000
and that's
of
taking
one
away
thing.
from the food boxes that you give out
exactly.
too. So
Exactly, yes. So for the backpacks, cash only, please. That we can stretch that again, like you said, we can make that dollar go a lot further. So
And while school is starting back, we are still not anywhere near being near the end of summer.
No,
Especially
not at
here in
all.
Yuma. We have about a 6-month summer, it feels like. Because we had warmer
Oh,
temperatures
gosh.
earlier. I think spring kind of hiccuped and rolled right past us.
Yes.
So,
But, you know, I'm at that kind of glass half full stage because the days are a little bit shorter now.
Mm-hmm.
And I know fall, I want to go Halloween shopping.
Yeah,
Fall
right.
is right around the corner. But we are still looking for,
Still 100
for
degrees.
volunteers to help make, whether it's processing food boxes
Yep.
or putting items together, doing paperwork, helping in some manner.
Yes.
So volunteer groups are needed. And maybe if you're heading back to school soon or you have an athletic team and they would like to come in and start doing some of the
Yeah.
things, when during our volunteer efforts we've seen other groups there at the same time, and it creates a fun little competitive rivalry
it
too.
does. It does.
If you want to challenge someone to get
Yeah.
in there and help.
Well, I like the fact that you brought up the sports teams. You know, I know that all of the football, high school football teams are already practicing and things. Take an hour out of that time and go down to the food bank and let them volunteer their time, because not only is it great for them, you know, but it's also great for their resume when they're going to be applying for college.
Can I
and
do
it's
another quick
huge.
shout out?
Yes.
I'm just going to help Michelle over here.
Shout out, Anita. Help me out here.
I'm thinking about these big groups, and I know that once we hit the fall and we go into the winter months, one of the things that the food bank does is the cleaning program.
Yes.
And having these larger groups, if we can coordinate now, that time period where you can go out and help clean the fruit, those larger groups make a huge impact.
It goes much
Really
quicker.
does, yes, it was a challenge last fall to get all those
Thank you.
groups in here to help us go out and glean.
Yeah, so
Well, it
this
moves
is a
much
great
quicker.
time.
And there were a couple of years here before Anita came to be one of our family members here. We have 4 or 5 citrus trees out front, and there's no way we could keep up with it. A lot of it would rot and
Yeah.
fall off
Yes.
the tree. And even when Mike Ivers was here, he goes, "That's a lot of great produce out there. Okay, we'll pick some. The hard part is getting the people together to do it. And even off the few trees we have here, we fill half
bins.
of 2
Two
bins last year because we'd gleaned the year before, and it changes, you know,
Sure.
what
Right.
you get off the trees.
Sure.
But again, you also, if it sits there and rots, you get bugs. But
Yeah.
you're wasting that phenomenal vitamin
yes.
C
Oh,
right there.
exactly, all that healthy fruit.
And we can only eat so much of it.
So now's
true.
the time to coordinate, right?
Yes.
Like think about
Start
talking
working
about your
now,
groups
Start thinking
and
about groups, whether it's a church group, a civic organization, an athletic team. It's a great team building exercise. Too.
Absolutely.
It creates flow and you get a little system going. But different teams, they have a way of speaking and just communicating and getting
Yeah.
stuff done.
And it's nice to have those young men and women that can climb the trees and get up
Exactly.
there. So I don't have to.
And of course, you know, back to school starting. If there's any moms out there that are, you know, your kids are in school and you want something to do, it's like you can come down and volunteer. Maybe we can get a moms group together.
oh, that would be
fun.
great. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's the Yuma Community Food Bank. Just reach out. Who would they like to call if they would like to maybe bring a group in to volunteer, Michelle?
You can give me a call. My number is 259-2218.
All right.
Give me a call and we'll get it organized.
Our guest today, Michelle, with the Yuma Community Food Bank. It's time to take our Lotus Day Spa and Salon selfie. Then you can go enter that contest.
Yes.
Just tell us why you want to enter. There's no keyword. I've got several entries coming in. They're long, too. Text to 928-343-0993, and we will select a winner at random afternoon today. The show is brought to you by Classic Accounting. Dave and his crew have over 30 years of experience and knowledge, and you can trust Classic Accounting with your business payroll and monthly bookkeeping needs. Give them a call today at 343-1040.
And Sprague Sports, right now, 9mm pistol sale and Fiyoshi ammo BOGO deal. Get a box of 22mm rimfire ammo when you buy a box of Fiyoshi centerfire pistol or rifle ammo. You can find them on 32nd Street next to Lowe's.
And from repairs and maintenance to premium system installations, Quick Refrigeration brings you indoor comfort expertise that keeps you comfortable and productive no matter the weather. Visit Quick Refrigeration online at getcoldquick.com.
And Advocate Pest and Wildlife Specialists, are you starting to see some of those creepy crawlers come out in your home? Maybe you've got some ants, crickets, spiders, scorpions, or God forbid, maybe a reptile or two? All you need to do is give the professionals a call at Advocate Pest and Wildlife Specialists. You can find them on Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat, or you can give them a call at 928-343-9149.
It's Today in Yuma, and it's time to take our Lotus Day Spa and Salon selfie with Michelle. We'll be back after the break with Mike ERFERT from the Yuma Fire Department.
I'm going to have to fix that for some notes, because it's a little confusing. It's confusing when you
Because
read
it's
it
not
like
the way
that.
that's your cadence.
It doesn't
Yeah,
flow
it
right.
doesn't have your flow.
I tried to mix up one of my quicks last week with the free filter.
What is
I
that?
was out of order, and
And
then
I try to mix things up. I end up saying flicks. So
Yeah.
I try to stay away from.
I think that's a special flea and tick combo.
It
though.
is.
It's a flick of a deal.
That's cute. Every single time when I try and say those two together. That's cute. Here we go. Smile. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Michelle.
See you later.
We'll see you guys tomorrow. If you can make it to the chamber.
Oh, the chamber
we're gonna
thing.
try. We're doing the Hertz thing at noon too.
Oh, okay,
So
that's
we're
fine.
all over it.
All right.
Yep. Bye. I apologize
For what?
for hijacking again.
No, you have good information. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, we can only
No, we can't,
We're
because
right
this stuff
before-
still
let me put
happens.
it up.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
My apologies, Jen,
What?
for hijacking.
Oh no, you're fine. It's okay. I'm like, you've been there, you've done that literally.
Yes. And that's one of the programs I get so passionate about.
So. No, absolutely.
Well, and I think it's important too because there's a lot of people that don't even know that that was going on. I didn't know that they did that until I started working here, and I'm like, oh my goodness, that's freaking awesome.
Right.
That they're able to, get food together to send home with these kids because a lot of times they're not eating it, or eating
Well,
very little until they get their own.
Some of the stories, because they'll get testimonials from the kids periodically, and one story that tugs at my heart is, it's a migrant family, and parents that work in the farm, they'll get lettuce from the field. That's all they had in their fridge was lettuce, and that's all they were eating. Water
Amber goes,
and
Anita,
lettuce.
passionate? LOL.
Sorry.
Oh, it's good. No,
That was it. So, lettuce and water. You can't live off of lettuce
that's what
and water.
I liked the paper plates. I like the stories.
Yes.
Because you don't often, you guys might hear those down there, people, the food bank and volunteers, but the community
They
doesn't
don't,
hear the
yeah.
stories. And there was one, it was a young man that played football for a local high school.
Yes.
And found out that he didn't know where food was going to come from. And he was suffering from dehydration and malnourishment. This was a football player at one of our schools.
Yep.
That's crazy.
And pride is a huge part of it too, especially when you get into the adolescence too.
Yeah.
That starts young, but they don't want people to know.
Well, and the stories of empty boxes in the pantry, so it looks like it's full.
Yeah.
I'm like, why? There's help there for you guys. There's no reason to go hungry. Not when we have the support we have.
Yep. I think having volunteered there and seeing the situation too, it gives my son an appreciation too.
Well, and the quality of stuff that comes through there, a lot of it can't be used.
Yeah. A lot of it has a very short shelf life too.
Very short. Very, very short.
Give Jennifer and Teresa
Aw,
I'm sorry to hear that,
that's
Amber.
hard.
I can relate.
Yep.
All right, we ready? Ready?
We are.
Go ahead and
You're
turn
all
that towards you, Mike.
you're always ready.
At a moment's notice.
We love it.
Here we go.
Welcome back to Today in Yuma. I'm Jennifer.
And I'm Teresa.
We are live here on Today in Yuma on Z93, Outlaw Country, and don't forget the FTS Automotive Facebook live feed. Our next guest with us, absolutely no stranger to the station or the show. Mike ERFERT is here with the Yuma Fire Department. Thanks for coming in, Mike.
Good morning.
Well, we have you here today because we have yet another day, well, and then tomorrow also, an extreme heat advisory by the National Weather Service out of Phoenix for our area. And we
That's-
thought we would have you come in and talk about some things to keep in mind. Maybe someone is caught in a situation and they do need, they're kind of torn between calling for help or just dealing with the situation on their own. But we are looking at 118 to 120 today. There are varying reports. And parts of the county may see 120 degrees.
So we're talking extreme heat emergency, otherwise known as it's summer in Yuma.
Exactly.
Right.
Well,
Just-
even though it's summer in Yuma, we say that jokingly. Even though we are, we're humans, we've lived through these summers. Every time it hits you, you walk outside and you're like, oh my gosh, it really is summer in Yuma. But, even though we're quote unquote acclimated to it, I don't think anybody can really get acclimated to 120 degrees.
Well, and that's where it's so that's where it's so important to be aware of signs and symptoms of heat illness, take those basic precautions, and be aware of both in yourself and for those around you when you start seeing those signs and symptoms, because one of those symptoms is maybe you're not thinking as clearly as you would otherwise do. Instead of, hey, you know what, I'm not feeling real well, it's time to, stop the lawn mowing and go inside. Maybe it's like, I'm going to just work that much harder to get it done faster.
If I power through, I can do it.
Yeah, that's kind of that's the way we're looking at. But some of the things that most common that people deal with, they'll start in with a headache. Then it kind of proceeds to maybe nauseousness, upset stomach kind of thing, weakness, maybe some body cramps, things like that, and can continue to progress until it becomes a life-threatening situation. Now, fortunately, if you catch this in the early stages, that your basic first aid for heat illness, things like getting a person or yourself out of that heat, cooling down, increasing your fluid intake, and particularly your water intake. Most of the time, you'll see people start to respond to that in just a few minutes, and we've seen that. I've seen that where even with my kids that have been out playing too hard in the summer, and then they're not feeling well. Get them in and start working with that. In just a few minutes, they're wanting to go back out for some more. That's the time to kind of put the brakes on it. Hey, we need to think about it.
Some people think too, if you're in that situation and you just down a bunch of water really quickly, it's going to fix the situation. It's not. That's only going to upset your stomach if you're already dealing with it.
Especially really cold water too. Right. It's like I'll cool down that much quicker, and that can actually add to your upset. And we've talked about it too with what you're taking in, that heavily caffeinated, heavily sugared, alcoholic beverages all can actually add to and increase your dehydration. So your body has its own built-in cooling system. It's an evaporative cooler. Now, those that are out there, fewer and fewer people are familiar with it. But if you've ever lived in a home that's had an evaporative cooler, they can work really good. I mean, they can freeze you out. They keep the environmental conditions really good. But as the heat goes up and the humidity goes up, it's not as effective. And that's the same sort of thing. I mean, that's the other Yuma joke is, it's a dry heat. Well, there really is something to that. If you're in a more humid climate where you're not having that evaporation being quite as effective, where you're feeling sticky and wet all the time and soaking, you're not getting that effective evaporation. Well, here in Yuma, you might not even be aware of it because your body is just constantly losing its moisture through that evaporation, very effectively, but ongoing. You've probably all have experienced where you've been out doing something, maybe through a whole morning. And I know you too are out on the scene of things from time to time, and you're drinking, you're trying to keep up, and then, all of a sudden you realize, I haven't had to use the bathroom.
Exactly.
And that means you're just barely keeping up, and that's why you want to just keep on drinking, be ahead of the power curve. Now that can be inconvenient sometimes if you're not around the nearest restroom, but it's what you're doing to keep it's what you're doing to keep yourself healthy.
Would you say that when you start to experience the headaches and things, that's probably too late?
Well, you want to keep ahead of it.
That's what I'm saying. If you're starting to get the headache, you should go inside already, because I think it's already too late. I know Jen starts to feel symptoms, and she's able to
I can identify, and I usually know, okay, I've tried to be more vigilant about remaining hydrated, especially if I know during the humid times of year also that I need to be out working in it. It'll start with kind of like a little dull headache at the back of my skull, but then I start getting a little bit of the dizziness, and my eyes, they're getting kind of gunky for lack of a better glazing over, but the lethargy sets in, and I'm like, okay guys, we're done with whatever we're doing, but I'm trying to plan ahead. Even if it's something I have to be outside for an hour, that really can be a long time.
An hour's a long time.
For someone who's acclimated to an office job like me, where it's in the 70 degrees, and any of the studios that we're that we're in, that's a big difference. For individuals, like Teresa said, who may acclimate a little bit more, they're used to it, they still take frequent breaks. They'll, this time of year, wear long sleeves, light colored, to limit that exposure to the direct skin, which will keep you a little bit cooler. But they are pretty well versed at drinking quite a bit of water all day long.
Right, and again, you just kind of hit on it too. Yeah, Teresa probably knows when Jennifer isn't looking quite right,
Yeah.
or the same goes like that, where you're, like, wow, you're looking, real red, or maybe you're going to that profuse sweating, and if it progresses beyond that, where your body actually you're not sweating, your skin gets very, very, very red and dry and hot. And essentially what that is your evaporative cooling system is shut down. Now your body temperature is increasing, and then you're in danger of what's referred to as a heat stroke, where your blood actually is not reaching your brain like it should be, and has the same effects
And if that
as another stroke.
If that is the situation, 911 needs to be called immediately.
Like, any unconsciousness or somebody that is not responding to those basic first aid measures, that's a medical emergency. Could go much worse than that, but normally if you get somebody in that headache stage, in that it gets a little that further, that nausea stage, that profuse sweating and other such, when you start treating it at that stage, it's remarkable. Some people will respond with like 3 to 5 minutes. They'll be like, oh, hey, I'm ready to go again. But it might be 15, 20 minutes, and if they continue to get worse, take additional steps. That's a 911 situation.
There was a friend of ours, a mutual friend, who was in a situation here not too long ago, and she's very active and went a little bit earlier. She normally is active in the evening, but it was like 5 or 6 o'clock, and she suffered from heat exhaustion. They gave her fluids, and the doctor said, go home and rest. You're going to feel really good, but go home and rest. And she kind of just crashed a little bit later. It can be exhausting, and that's the big sign, too, when you just start.
Exactly.
It's not so much just lethargy. When I've been in that situation, I just want to go home and nap for hours. It just takes so much out of you.
Yeah, now, on the recreation side, I have gone on motorcycle trips where you go to a cooler part of the state or into the lagunas or something like that. Be prepared, and especially we had some situations where coming back down into the desert and then riding for an hour or more, it's not like you normally can be drinking something as you're riding. So I've gone to where if I'm in that situation, I'd be wearing a Camelback and continually intaking hydration throughout that time. Because the last time that happened to me, it was a couple of days before I was feeling better again. And if the farther you let yourself go, then the longer it's going to be to recover, and you're going to be more susceptible as the summer goes on.
That's what I found. Even from year to year, I just don't have a lot of tolerance for it, because I've let myself get in a situation in the past. I'm gonna make it through it. I'm tough.
So you plan your days. You do your more intensive activities as early as you can get going with them. Maybe in the evening hours, if that's what it takes, and just keep that fluid intake going. We have calls for service involving the river, where people they're focused on, well, I'm in water. But it doesn't absorb. That's like frogs and other kind of
We're not quite
wildlife.
amphibious
Yeah,
there.
you got to take it in. You got to do that intake. And with the river, that kind of brings up another thing too. With this heat, people are driven toward the water recreation, which is great, and we've got that here in the Yuma area. But be very, very cautious. Use extreme caution. Again, that's another one that we've talked about over and over again when it comes to the river or even backyard pools. They're not babysitters. That if you've got kids around those areas of water, that's constant, that's intensive, that's unrelenting supervision, adult supervision, and even adults should not be swimming alone. Nobody should be swimming alone in Boy Scouts, we refer to that as the buddy system.
Yes.
And it's a fantastic way to keep people safe. Nobody should swim alone.
And never in a canal.
Never in a
ever,
canal.
ever.
Never
And
in
you
a
know,
canal.
you say that, and my husband works for the water district. He actually came upon some kids swimming in the canal.
Oh my goodness.
And he goes, it scared him.
Yeah.
And the kids were being very unsafe, and he, you know, he got out of his tractor and was like, you need to get out of the canal. And they kind of gave him some grief. They were a little bit younger kids, you know, probably, you know, 11, 12 years old that shouldn't even be by themselves, but they're swimming in the canals. We say that all the time, but it happens. And this happened, you know, within the last couple of weeks. So you want to make sure that is not somewhere safe to
And-
be swimming at all.
Mike,
Right.
if you come up on the situation and the kids won't get out of the water, can we
Call
call
the police.
a non-emergency or an emergency line?
Oh yeah, if they're in
Yeah.
a canal, that they're illegally in that
Okay.
canal, so you will get a law enforcement response, but it's a very dangerous situation.
And
It
I've
is.
reached out to Mike because I live in an area, I'm not too far from the tragedy that
Yeah.
occurred with the twin little boys that died a few years ago. And that's my backyard. And anytime neighbors see someone over there, they, hey, who can you call? Well, you can call someone too.
You can call too,
But,
yeah.
you know, I will reach out and make a second call. I'd rather have dispatch receive more than one call to get someone out there and get them out of there.
And there have been additional near drowning situations out there in that canal system, so it's one of those deals
You
that,
can, the sides are often slick, and the angle at which they are created,
or
you
not,
can't get out.
Or total opposite. I mean, the way that they keep up those ditch banks and all that stuff, they use rock, they use ground up asphalt. You slide and you hit your head or anything like that. It can be very, very dangerous.
you don't know what's in
You don't
there.
know what's
you
in
don't
there.
know what's under the surface. The conditions can change rapidly if they, you know, all of a sudden gates are open, things like that. And again, with rivers and lakes too. With rivers and lakes, those are natural waterways,
Yep.
and you cannot be sure of the conditions. Last year, down by the Ocean Bridge, we had 4 separate responses for teenagers that were hurt doing that, swinging off the bridge, jumping off, and well, I know where everything is.
No.
Like, well, no, you don't.
And that is illegal too. That bridge is
is.
private property.
Yeah, every once in a while we'll have, and there have been some discussions recently about that. Oh, well, there's a nice rope hanging off of it. Well, whenever we find that, we take that
Cut it
down.
down.
Fire department or the police department cut those down. And if you're crawling around there trying to put on a new rope, thinking you're going to be,
You're
you know,
trespassing again.
you are trespassing.
Isn't
exactly.
that Union Pacific property? Through the
yeah.
railway bridge up there?
The railroad definitely, but they shouldn't be crawling on anything up in that
But
area.
in jail's better than dead. So
Yeah.
Well, and you mentioned that the river changes so quickly. I
It
know we
does.
were out there a couple weeks ago, and we were in the water and things, and I know my son probably is like, Mom, you're driving me nuts, but he's only allowed so far into the water because we're keeping an eye on him, but the current was so strong, and at one point you felt the current get even quicker, and
Exactly.
that, you know what, they probably opened up some gates to let more water down, because this is where we get the water for all of the rest of the things that go on around here.
And again,
It changes
these
very
canals
fast.
also irrigate our food systems too.
Yeah.
So stay out of them.
Yeah, exactly.
And-
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
exactly.
we're just gonna stop right there with that.
Stay out of the canals.
Well, and you think about it, we've had an awful lot of rain up in the northern part of the
Yes.
state.
Yes.
That stuff goes
Somewhere.
and that increases flows and things like. It's fantastic. Like the Prescott area and a lot of northern Arizona they're considering their fire season over with. That, you know, they made it through, and you know they're kind of actually soggy in some cases, and there have been flooding situations, but. That's really neat, but that also will
Water
goes
impact
down.
your other your reservoirs, your rivers and lakes, and you just have to. Again, it's not a babysitter. When I get down there, and occasionally I'll see just the kids playing alone. You know, we've had several very near close incidents recently. The last one being the mother with the 3-year-old daughter that was waiting and then lost their footing, went in over their head. She was doing her best to keep her child out of the water, and was doing that, but she was
Yeah, she
underwater
couldn't.
and
She was
not,
under,
you know,
so.
and as fortunately a bystander saw that going on, was able to take that child out of her arms, and she was able to get herself out at that point. But very likely we could have had a double drowning
Exactly. And I'm glad that individual received recognition too. All right, it's time to take a break. It's time for our Lotus Day Spa and Salon selfie with Mike out in the courtyard. When we come back, we'll do our Firehouse birthday shout outs here on Today in Yuma on Z93, Outlaw Country, and the FTS Automotive Facebook Live feed.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
We could talk about that forever.
I know. I would just keep adding other stuff. I was like, you missed Anita. You had the better action over there. What the heck? All right,
Right next to Jen.
Playing chicken with real chickens.
Yes, and cats. The cat was there too.
The lions and...
Smile. That was funny. Where did
So we're having the
went that way.
lions and the lambs.
They're all laying together, but we scared them all, I think.
Yeah, it was. And that the calico is relatively new.
Yeah.
They like to come and hang out in the lilies when it gets pretty excessive.
I do.
See Mike out there with the chicken? I'll see you later.
That's Tim in the morning, our neighbor's cat, the one I was telling you about.
I'm like, your husband plays in the flowers.
He's like, this stupid cat, why is it in our garden? I'm like, because we water and it's cooler here.
Yeah.
And this morning I walk out and there's two. There's one that looks like Suffo, like has the same coloring as Suffo and the blue eyes. I know it's not, but it looks like Suffo.
Like
And then we have the gray and white one. But my neighbor did get him. Must have gone to Feline Friends because her ears clipped.
Oh, good.
I'm like, thank you.
Good.
April wants a ice skating.
I know.
I'm like, yes.
I'm with you.
I would take advantage of that.
Go.
I'm just going to go there to observe.
Oh, I like ice skating.
skate,
You
but-
can ice skate?
I skate,
I like
but
ice
I like
skating.
ice skating. It's
But I would rather just kind of chill out.
We used to go to the Coliseum in Indy because that's where our minor league hockey team would play, was at the Coliseum, and they would open it up.
I think
to
the
the
first
public.
place I ice skated that was in Hawaii with my cousins.
Jim Otis took me ice skating. And it's because I'd never gone. I was in college the first time I went.
Gosh.
So I'll never forget his name or who he was. He was a hockey player, and he took me ice skating.
All right, ready?
Yep.
We got 4 minutes, so here we go.
Welcome back to Today in Yuma. I'm Jennifer.
And I'm Teresa.
Don't forget you have until noon to text and tell us why you want to win that $50 Lotus Day Spa and Salon gift certificate. Just text to 928-343-0993. For complete rules, you can visit monstermediayuma.com.
That's right.
Really quickly, how about them D-bags?
I'm pretty excited about them D-backs, considering we have someone in here that is a Cubby fan.
Woo!
And she decided she wanted to try and talk smack last Friday.
I was just pointing out.
I didn't want to warrant any kind of response to that. I'll just let my D-backs say all that needs to be said. They did very well yesterday.
we needed to do well.
We needed to do well. We did.
All right, several birthdays on our Firehouse birthday shout out list today. And just a reminder, if you would like to have us announce a birthday, just go to our website. That's monstermediayuma.com. Click on the Today in Yuma tab, and you will see the Firehouse Celebrate banner. It's short. Just fill that out and let us know whose birthday it is. We even have a place in there to put the date.
Whose birthday, when, and give us 24 hours notice, please.
That's right. And then all those will be entered, the local birthdays will be entered into a random drawing the following Monday. And one person will win a free medium sub, chips drink, and a dessert.
Sounds good.
Firehouse Public Safety Foundation saves lives through donation grants, and they've awarded or granted over $35 million so far to provide equipment, training, and support for our hometown heroes.
That's right.
Today's birthdays.
First one on our list is Joe Franklin. We want to wish you a very happy birthday.
Also, Adam T. Camarena is turning 20 today. I've known Adam probably since at least first grade.
Yeah,
So I went to school with my son, yes.
Oh, wow.
Gail Buchan also celebrating today with Aaron Allen. Aaron's been here several times for the Yuma JCs.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Connie Lipset is celebrating, and this last gentleman from the community,
How old is he?
Rigo Orta, is 23 today.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness.
I know Rigo was often the voice for the Yuma High Criminals for football.
He was.
I know he was class president or student body president. I don't remember which one for some time, but just a great guy. Comes from a Yuma family we've known for a number of years, and he's going on to do great things.
These kids need to stop growing. Your child too. I mean, I've worked with you for a very long time, and to think that he's almost 21 is it's kind of scary.
He's 20 and a half.
He's 20 and a half,
If you ask
exactly. Well, happy birthday to all of you. Again, if you have a birthday shout out, just go to monstermediayuma.com, click on the Today in Yuma tab, fill out our little entry form, and send it on over, and we'll make sure to get it set on the radio.
And coming up on tomorrow's show, it's Wisdom Wednesday with the lovely Sarah Wisdom from the Yuma County Library District, and Ed and Brooke Saxton from Keller Williams Realty will be here talking about a variety of things that they have going on right now.
Sounds good.
Because when I need to sell my next home, that's who I'm going to call.
That's who you're going to call?
Yes,
Sounds good to me.
Yes, it seems like they make the process pretty simple and leave it in their hands. All right, don't forget the Lotus Day Spa and Salon giveaway. Noon is the deadline. I've already got a bunch of entries here, but get yours in and just tell us why you would like to win one.
Exactly.
It's Today in
Super
Yuma.
easy.
We will see you tomorrow on Z93 Outlaw Country, streaming at monstermediayuma.com and on the FTS Automotive Facebook Live feed. KCYK Yuma and KLJZ Yuma.
Although you're forgetting something,
I'm like,
Jen.
nope, I got to get it. We weren't quite close enough. I wanted to get it to at least 20-ish. Thank you, Anita.
Bye, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Stay cool. Drink your
Drink lots of water.